What I want to start with is how did we do last year, right? So last year we had some predictions at the end of the year. We want to kind of highlight it. We didn't hit everyone. If we did everyone, we wouldn't be talking to you. We'd be going getting lottery tickets. But I think we, in general theme, we got a lot of things right. And we will, once we do that, we'll do the recap and then we'll do the predictions. I know we were a lot focused on the crypto market in 2023 or 22 videos, and now we've like the AI crypto market kind of went into a bear market, so we've pivoted to AI, and I think those will all converge again. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But picking up where we left off from a prediction, I think some of the uh, things we talked about was definitely around the BTC and ETH. Where are they? They will lose in the first half of the year, which did happen, and then now we are back to, I don't know if it's a bull market, but everything is coming back again. We definitely talked about that, but we definitely called some of the things around the generative AI will advance from text to image to complex workflows. We just did a video last week around how text to voice, text to video, and all kinds of multi-modalities coming into play right now, and all kinds of complex workflows are already in play, and it's going to keep getting better. We definitely nailed that one. Metaverse Winter is definitely happening, and we did get the Fed stop raising rates. Bitcoin spot ETF is not yet there, but I think we're very close. So in general, I think we've got some of the common themes we got it on point. So do you have anything to talk about our predictions from 23, Balaji?
Oh, I
Or 22?
again, yeah, again, it's been a year, so it's great to look at all the stuff we have done, and maybe we got 50% right. That's a good number.
Yes.
I think we keep guessing forward, right? I think let's keep our prediction engine going. I like it. I think it's been a great year in technology, both for people in the stock market as well as people who are actually playing and building. I think it's been a good year that way. I like it.
Agree. So let's go move on to our recap of 23. There's a lot of things that happened in 23. What we want to highlight is just what I consider or we consider as the top news, right? Because I could talk about what happened in 2023 for the next 5 hours, but we wanted to kind of highlight some broad themes. In AI, GPT-4 was to me the biggest thing that happened. Where I think it brought a lot of. I mean, GPT 3.5 brought a lot of audience to mainstream, but 4 kind of blew 3 out of the water. So a lot of excitement. It kind of kept building on the excitement, and so many benchmark tests were passed by 4. So many wrapper layer applications were developed, and I think overall GPT-4 helped bring a lot more developers into the fold, a lot more entrepreneurs into it, a lot more investors into the fold. I feel like it's one of our, I know there's a lot of other products, but I don't know if there's still the gold standard for us when it comes to LLMs. Nobody's ever that's like S&P 500. Everybody says, did you beat the market? S&P 500 is gold standard. Only 2% of people ever beat it. So far, we have a lot of runners and open models coming close, but I think still GPT-4 is a gold standard, and I foresee it being there for a little bit longer. But Balaji, any thoughts on a GPT-4?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is single-handedly brought people from the skeptic camp to curious camp, right? I think that's the first observation I had, right? I think there's more people playing with it, more people trying to make use of it. I also saw there's a 4.5 sneak peek spinning around in Twitter. I think before the close of the year, who knows, maybe there's a 4.5. But I think it has delivered that kind of impact that AI is real, AI is here. It can be useful to augment what you want to do as a human.
Agree. And I think the reasoning part of AI got better with GPT-4, general reasoning. And to be honest, right, there's so much money and time that went into building these models. I know it's not affordable for everybody, but the democratization of that, right? You and I can get access to it at $20 a month. So just think about the sheer power it puts in your hand for $20 a month. I'm not trying to sell that product. I'm just saying being able to access millions of dollars of research and years of work for that, where now you're just taking it for granted the amount of work they put into it. Then you're building wrappers and applications on top of it. So to me, that was one of the, I think, a landmark, a milestone that happened in 23, especially in the AI space.
Yes, Rajni, I think to dovetail off that particular comment, I think a lot of activity in the open source area is creating this democratization of AI effect. I like personally what Meta is doing in terms of responsible AI. They're throwing out some of these models that they have for public, and even in some cases for research and different types of licensing in the open source side. In general, I like the activity in the open source area, so that it's not going to be the few big corporations handing out these and they reserve the right to raise the price from $20 to God knows $200 tomorrow because they are the only ones, right? I think there's a lot of development in the open source area, which I'm very excited about.
Perfect. We can't talk about anything AI without talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA became a $1 trillion company. Just for context, it is more than the market cap of Intel, AMD, Qualcomm, Cisco, and Broadband combined. Whether you believe it is reasonable valuation or not, you have to understand GPUs are very incredibly valuable and it's a scarce resource. Even Sam Altman said that GPUs is basically their bottleneck for their progress right now. And new and better models and more widespread support of existing models is limited by the GPU companies. We know there's going to be AI disruption is going to cause winners and losers. At this current time, NVIDIA is definitely reaping many of these rewards. So I agree that until the alternatives come up or a demand for bigger GPUs, because now we're going with the smaller language models or other like AMD and others come up with some GPUs that are comparable, this is going to be NVIDIA's game to lose for a while. So I'm excited. I'm not invested in NVIDIA other than having some in the S&P 500. I wish I'd invested, but it's very cool how they've become, just $1 trillion within a very short window. Any thoughts?
Yeah, when it comes to, I think when we talk about chipsets, I'm just recollecting the year that has passed by, and I already see the little bit of asymmetric behavior, right? So there's two aspects, which is training, which is going to take a lot of time and money and GPU to get it done. And then there is this inference, which is a different type of activity, which is based on the model, try to extract some value. I'm hoping as time goes by, probably the NVIDIA leaders in the segment are going to keep that training aspect. You want to train something, a lot of data, a lot of faster and all that stuff, right? But when it comes to inference, I am really hoping that we are able to do some of the inference with CPU or even some low power GPUs or like ARM. So I think what I'm trying to say is I think I welcome the leadership in that space by NVIDIA, but I am also looking forward to others creating a more diverse space. So it's not just one person leading that camp. So we'll see.
Agree. But there is a lot of excitement around AI, which translates to investment in this space. So we have to. The reason we are moving this fast, or is because we are looking at the potential. So, but if you look at something like Inflection AI, if you didn't even know about them 18 months ago, but they've launched a ChatGPT competitor Pi. They have a 1.3 billion funding round that was announced in June. That's a 1.3 billion was the single biggest investment round at that time. And then again, other AI companies have taken more than that. So I'm just going to rattle off a few investments that happened this year, right? Just to get a sense for what we do. OpenAI, Microsoft estimated close to 10 billion. Anthropic raised a 450 million series and a 4 billion Amazon investment in September and a 2 billion from Google just a month later. These are all the different valuations for Anthropic. Adept had a 350 million in March. Cohere at a 270. Huggy Face 235. So the list keeps going on and on. So there's definitely 60% of all YC batch were either related to AI or ML. AI companies are taking over the VC, where 26% of all VC funding in 2023 so far, total of $23 billion have been invested in AI and AI related companies. So that's a
That's
lot of
insane.
money going into space.
That's a lot of activity. I like it.
So there's always what do they say? There's always a bull market somewhere. 23, I don't know where stock markets also have kind of I mean, they've recovered all the losses, so I can't even say they haven't gone there. But if you look at from the beginning of the year, there was a bull market in AI. So if you were an investor or developer, anybody interested in space, you could feel the excitement of how much money is being pumped into these
Yeah.
companies. We will only time will tell which one is a good investment. But what it translates to, if you have a lot of smart people and a lot of money flowing into the space, we should expect some amazing returns, at least for some of these models or companies in the future. So just like what happened when Amazon, it did what was Amazon? It was below from 2000. It took about 7 8 years before Amazon actually became a darling for the market, right? There's a lot of beatings and they had to kind of establish themselves. So it won't be an overnight thing where we see who the winners are. But if you look at a macro picture with so much money going and so many smart people focused on this, there has to be good outcomes on the other side. So that's what I'm very bullish about.
Absolutely. I like the activity. I like the investment that's going into the space, and more so, I think people are able to see spark of brilliance coming into AI on a continuous basis. That's kind of carrying the momentum forward. So more to see in 2024.
All right. So now we've talked a little bit about some of the closed sources, but I know the next big wave or things that are people excited about is the open source model. There's a lot of open source model. Many observers believe that they should and will win, while others fail that are scared that by unleashing the LLM technology, anyone with a laptop, what are the downsides? I mean, both very valid concerns. Uh, Meta released Llama 2, a larger, more advanced and commercially available market. It was one of the key steps that was taken between open and closed source models. It seems strange that Meta is sliding with the underdog, but its approach so far is meant to be arm the rebels, right? That's the approach that Meta is taking, so that it can take some market share from Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI. So it's a great foundation model. I know you have played a lot with it, but there's others that are coming out. Mistral and Falcon from Dubai. Mistral, I think, is a French company.
French, yeah, French company.
So I haven't had a chance to play with it, but I had nothing but great things about it. So I want to download it and play around with it. But overall, it's a great thing for the ecosystem to have open models be available, and not like they definitely haven't caught up with, let's say, GPT-4, but they're getting very close. And if you fast forward 10 years, who knows, right? We've talked about this earlier. I don't think language models are going to be the differentiator. It'll be like almost like a fundamental thing everybody needs to have. So it will, lack of better word, more of a commodity. So it'll be good to have open models be supported by a bigger base, and then give this access to people all around the world. So your thoughts on open models and where we headed?
Yeah, when I think about how this space is evolving, first thing comes to mind is I think we started with large language models, which fundamentally were showcasing the capability of natural language processing and trying to understand the context and trying to do something with it, right? And then I think we ran with, okay, now let's throw large volumes of data, and this one system, is it good at many things? Like, can it do math? Can it do history? Can it do? So that's the kind of reports that came out. It can take over the school system, all kind of stuff, right? But I think why I am saying this is, I think as a evolutionary process, I think we are slowly getting to a stage where these open source models are trying to do one or two things really good in combination with natural language processing. I think that's the key, right? Once we get to that, now we got a lot of these building blocks that a lot of people can play with, rather than this huge model that that needs a lot of memory and compute and GPU and everything to play with, right? So I think that's where I'm hoping this gets to. And I think Mistral, I think one other thing that came out was Microsoft releasing the PHI 5.2, which is a 2 billion model, which supposedly is performing very good compared to Llama 7 billion in certain aspects, not every aspect, but in certain aspects it's really good. So the exercise now is how can we bring it to smaller size, be it quantization or be it different type of training. Much to look forward there.
Absolutely. I know we'll cover a little bit of it in our prediction, but moving on to the next one, which is near and dear to my heart, is auto GPTs, right? So just an example of ChatGPT, if you want pizza, I can suggest a list of pizza restaurant. Someday, auto GPT will find the number for the Domino's, remember your go-to pizzas, and order it for you. So that's what I envision happening. So it's a toolkit for building AI agents, programs that can independently think and create and execute plans. It was launched earlier this year, one of the fastest downloaded software in GitHub. So to me, they are significantly changed from how people interact with LLMs. Right now, ChatGPT, you have to. It's a chat-based, a text-based conversation that you interact with ChatGPT. But I think since we are auto GPT is in the infancy, it is improving at a rapid pace. But they're adding new capabilities like being able to use tools, connect to the internet, and being able to take multimodal inputs. So I'm excited about the prospects of where Auto GPT is going. I know that's just one tool, but there are other similar tools that are in this space. To me, it's all about simple, just like you said, natural language processing, right? So that could be typing, that could be speech, but being able to communicate for people who are not technology savvy, right? We have a lot of early adopters in the space. For us to cross the chasm, we have to be able to make this models easy to interface with. You don't have to be a technology person to be able to interface. When we get to that point is when the adoption is going to improve. And tools like Auto GPT is going to help us get there, is my thoughts. Or my thoughts.
What 100%. Auto GPT in many ways is just an inspirational project that came around and everybody got to play with it, including myself and you. And you can already see how OpenAI borrowed that concept, right? Now there is agents in OpenAI, right? I think they saw this activity and then they said, okay, let's plug that into OpenAI. So I think as an architectural component, right, they take some message, parse the natural language meaning, try to figure out what is needed and spin off agents and get the job done. I think because a lot of these language models are not good at math, now they are spinning off a calculator. The simplest example, right? I can't do math, so at least I can spin off a calculator in Python and get the answer, right? So things like this are showing up, right? So it's very interesting to see how that concept of creating agents to spin off and go get the specific work done and come back and consolidate. I think it's gonna be very interesting how people are starting to visualize this.